Welcome to Canada's podcast. So, Graham, welcome to Canada's podcast. Great to see you.
Great to be here.
Before we go much further, I'll do my usual thing because nobody knows who the heck you are. You might have seen me a little bit, but tell us a little bit about your journey so far, why you started it, and where you are today. What that lovely painting is behind you. What is it about? What's the space thing that you're living in? That might give you a little lead in terms of promotion as well. So that's fine. Off you go.
So the journey. I come from a marketing background in advertising, as you know, very similar to the space you're in or you're familiar with. And when I ran my agency, one thing that I recognized was that about 95% of the time I was never in the office. We were always going to see clients. And that sort of planted the seed that, the office was probably not truly necessary for many people. I mean, it's definitely has its value for people to be there at certain points, but not necessarily 100% of the time. And then when you're on the road meeting clients, finding a convenient place to meet, somewhere that's professional, somewhere that you're not tied to in terms of a long-term lease or contract, that's not readily available. You find yourself in a Starbucks or a hotel lobby or, by the airport gate trying to get some work done or trying to do a video call, right? So, it kept growing over the years. And then, when I closed the agency and I was just into consulting, it really accelerated the need for figuring this out. And, we also, 5 years ago, I was looking at technology platforms like Uber, Airbnb, the on-demand economy. And I said, there's probably this really great opportunity to create space that's on demand. So can you find something that's convenient, consistent, and professional in between the destination office and the home? And can you make it as seamless and easy as ordering food from Uber Eats? You could rent a desk by the hour, or you can rent an office by the hour. So that's where the impetus started. That's when we started, and been building it for the last 5 years. Mm-hmm. And it's really accelerated. COVID really sort of kicked it into high gear for us.
So let's go back to the source, though, if you like.
Yeah.
What motivated you? I mean, part of the show is that, why are you an entrepreneur? What motivated you? How into it? It's not the most common route. Okay, so
no.
And I'm always interested to say, why the heck did you go down this road, basically?
So, and that's a great question. And I think every entrepreneur probably at some point, they do some sort of self-reflection and they say to themselves, something must be wrong with me, because you have to be wired to do it or you're not. And it actually traces back to, when I was a kid. We immigrated to Canada in 1978. As you're growing up in a new country, as you are, learning just some of the nuances of how to adapt and how to become part of the new system that you're in, you're faced with some realities. Like, you're faced with the realities that you are starting from scratch in many ways. And so that's part of the experience. And then as you're growing up as a kid, you are looking at certain realities and you're saying, well, how do I make this happen? How do I, where are my opportunities going to come? I don't have a template. I don't have mentorship. I don't have, I didn't have sort of the large networks of insight that I could pull on. And so much of what I did, I had to just figure out. I think that's where a lot of entrepreneurs start. You can say, hey, there's a problem or there's a challenge, and then I don't have anyone to ask, so I got to figure out how to do this.
Right.
And opportunities usually fall out of that challenge, right? Trying to figure things out. So I've always been wired to do this. My brother and I used to do lemonade stands, 3 paper routes, anything to sort of move the needle. I remember starting, a retail clothing line when I was in university, and we had a store downtown. I remember before getting into advertising, grade 10, someone coming to a marketing class and talking about the industry. And I said, I'm going to have an ad agency one day, so I think you're just wired for it,
Yeah, I think there's a good deal of truth in it. My father was an entrepreneur, and so
you just
did. So, sorry, I didn't turn off Telegram. Okay,
this is the beauty of remote work.
Yeah.
This is the beauty of it.
Okay. Okay. So, wait. Just let me. So, just ignore it. So, but a lot of the audience is sort of interested to find out. Yes, you're wired for it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But, what does it need, to make it happen? Money, energy, that kind of focus on building from an idea into, you've got a decent sized business now. What does it take? I mean, what is that focus thing that, it doesn't necessarily result in success all the time for entrepreneurs. But I think there is a process, but it's not the same in everybody. How do you get your focus? How do you get that progression?
So that's a very good question. I'm always questioning how you keep moving forward, step by step. I probably distill it down to one word, and that's, I think, the audacity. I think entrepreneurs require a sense of audacity, like the willingness to look at something, and even if people are telling you no, even if the odds seem stacked against you, if you believe in your own creativity, you say, I can make it happen, right? Some people might say that's resilience, having resilience, having, a tough skin. But I think first and foremost, as an entrepreneur, is that and accept that there's going to be pain, accept that there are going to be challenges, lean into them, and know that and trust in your own creativity to overcome it. Right. And I don't know, I may sound very philosophical, but I think it's true, because I think, there have been any entrepreneur that tells you it's been easy and that there haven't been challenges probably doesn't really understand their business fully in terms of having a very real picture of it. Right. Because every business faces challenges. And I think it's how you cope with those challenges.
But that challenge do you have a challenge process? So, how do you get around the wall? I mean, we all hit walls.
Yes.
How do you get around it?
Yeah. So, okay. Another great question. You have so many great questions. For me anyway, and for us as a team, one thing that we have is when we do hit the wall, I really ask myself one question: is this a day I want to stop? Is this it? Because that's the choice. Not to try to get through that wall, to get around the wall. You say, the option is, don't do it, I stop. And am I okay with that? And if you're an entrepreneur and you're wired for, the sort of the hustle and pushing forward, it's rare that wall will make you stop. And if it does make you stop, then, it's not that, and you don't learn from it, then, you're probably not wired for entrepreneurship, right? And it sounds very simple, but it's the truth. It's like you have two choices in life: either you move forward or you don't. And I think entrepreneurs face that on a daily basis almost. I think so many business owners have probably faced it multiple times through the last 2 years, where they had points where they said, why am I doing this? And it's either you stop or you don't.
Mentorship has been very, very important for me. Uh, what's the best piece of advice you've received and that you keep on using? That I think it's kind of, is there a little gem in the background that just doesn't go away? There may not be.
No, there is. So he happens to be one of our very first investor. He actually, I pitched the Lauft idea to him. I consider him a mentor. He's a business partner in a way on a few other initiatives, but his name is Dean Hanish, and I'm going to put the name out there. A great guy, but he's from Ottawa, and he told me once, and we've known each other. Our parents know each other. Our moms know each other from high school, and he came into the agency when I had Urban DNA, or my old ad agency, and we were talking about business. And he said to me once, he said, the reality is that no one in life, nobody owes you anything. They don't. And the moment you believe that somebody owes you something, or an investor owes you this, or a client owes you this, you're lost. Because the reality is that if you deliver your product, or you push forward, or you build your business, and your tenacity takes you forward, the results will bring in everything else. So it's really based on your actions. And I think that really stuck with me. And, even in the challenging times, where you might say, oh, this is because of this, or this is because of that. Understanding that no one owes you anything and it's all you has really got me through a lot of things. I don't know if that answers it, but that's the piece of things.
No, it's good. So if you had to pick one word to describe Graham, what would it be? And why?
That's a great, it's about 6 great questions back to back.
Yeah. We try.
I would say I'm creative. Not only because I'm very passionate about creativity. I'm passionate about, looking at systems, understanding why they work, and understanding how to create, meaning from things coming together. So, I love history, or I love philosophy, and I love understanding concepts so that I can create the narrative or the story that makes it crystal clear for people. My father was in education, my mother, my aunt. And so I think that, and I was in advertising, right? So it was all about storytelling, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Love being able to create and put the pieces together and present it. And I think, I feel very good about being able to put a narrative out there and someone saying, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Oh, I never looked at it like that. Or, the perspective. And I think even building business is creating a story and a narrative, right? So creative.
Speaking about stories, let's get a little, there'd be some fairly deep questions I was asking you there.
I love them.
I'll tell you down a bit. What books are you reading now? Or listening to, whatever. Or is there something in that you could recommend that really affected you in the last couple of years that you've read?
I would say in the last year, September of 2020. Oh my gosh, no. Yeah. So it was September of 2020. We're now in 2022. It's crazy how time has flown. But almost in the second phase of the pandemic, as a company, we got into the entrepreneurial operating system, EOS. And we had a facilitator, Andrew Turner. I'll drop another name, amazing facilitator. but fundamentally changed the way I looked at business. And the book Traction, Get a Grip. These were books that I really got into. Do you know Wickman? But really got into these books because what it really did for us is it helped us remove a lot of the fluff in our business and really just focus on the reality of the day, to focus on the accountability, the good and the bad, and really work through that. And so in the last year, that has been fairly impactful to the business and to myself.
What's the best thing about, being an entrepreneur? It doesn't have to be a business side of it, but what's the best thing about being an entrepreneur versus, working for an enterprise somewhere?
I think, it'll sound cliche. It's not like saying, hey, I have no limit on what I can earn. Right. Mm-hmm. I think it's a creativity, right? I'd read in a book once where they said that, entrepreneurs are one of the only groups in society that create. And really, if you think about it, an entrepreneur might say, I think a building could be here. And that building will hire construction workers. It'll hire people. It'll actually create, part of the economy. Mm-hmm. Entrepreneurs create retail opportunities and people will be able to buy food and sort of the transactions. And without entrepreneurship, you really don't have a functioning society in a way, right? Like you don't. I mean, you don't have taxes being given. You don't have a lot of things happening. You don't have employment. So being part of that community that creates and helps to, create opportunities, provide living. I mean, that's a great feeling. So for me, that's what entrepreneurship is.
Let's be very specific about your business, co-work,
sure.
Whatever you want. I don't know what the current word is, but what are you most excited about in your business at the moment?
Yeah, for us, it was 5 years ago when we started our approach to co-working, and we're put in that category, but I would say that we're not a co-working space. We're really an experience, a spatial experience. Yeah. But the reason for that is because we don't have contracts. We don't have, a membership fee. It really is pay as you go. You need an hour, you need 2 hours, you need a boardroom, you need a desk. Everything is on demand. It's all technology driven. And what I like to say is if LinkedIn can tell you who you work for, our goal is to understand how you work and then wrap the tools and services around that experience. Mm-hmm. Whether that is you're working at a loft in Burlington Center and you want a coffee delivered to you, we want to bundle that. If you want curbside pickup, you should be able to put everything together, right? So our approach to the space has always been about, and you'll see it on our site, we say we're the work-life freedom company. It's about putting work as close to your life as possible so that you don't compromise your life. And, one thing that came out of COVID, if you think about the 1.5 hour commute that people were doing every day, what happened is a lot of life got put to the side. You couldn't be there for your kid's soccer game, or you couldn't be there, for dinner. And that changed. And so it's not that you have to, you may need the separation between work and life, but it's not that you need work to be an hour away. You may just need it around the corner. And I think, one thing that we like about our business is our goal is to build this network of touch points, be the Starbucks of space, right? So convenient, consistent, professional, everywhere. People can access it when they want, wherever they want. That's pretty powerful. That's what I love about our business. And I love that, with the Audacity, I'll say that we're going to change the way people work globally,
So it's just a couple of fun ones. Are you a morning or a night person?
I'm a always on person. So there isn't a preference of the morning or the night. It's, if it's 3 a.m. and I have a thought and I need to get something done, I'm going to do it. If it's 5 o'clock in the morning, I need to be up, I'll be up. My challenge, even though we say we're the work-life freedom company, internally and personally, my work-life freedom probably has more to do with just working and passionately getting whatever's in my head out, and it satisfy both sides. So
Yeah. Okay. In business, this is I love words, so I through this one in. In business, what's your favorite word?
accountability.
What's your least favorite word?
My least favorite word. We should. Should.
Okay.
Should. Let's just do it.
That's really good. You know what? We're coming. I'm just looking at my timing. We're coming to the end of our
Okay.
25-minute session. It just flew by. It's been great. It really has been terrific. And I always like people to be able to get a hold of you. So how can our listeners, viewers, get a hold of you? And if I missed anything, you want to add anything before we wind it up?
I mean, I certainly am not adverse to giving my email. It's g.wong, WONG, at Lauft, LAUFT.work, WORK. Or you can visit our site at loft.work and take a look, and someone will get in touch with me if you need to get in touch with me, but reach out to me directly. But anyone on our team is passionate about it. I'm so proud to have the team that we have.
Teams are everything. Yeah.
They are.
Okay. Well, Graham, thanks again for coming on Canada's podcast. It's been fun.
Thanks, Philip. It's been a lot of fun.